Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing AbyssLord in the 3-minute pool on ICC. First game of the session. Sorry if the lighting looks weird. The overhead light in my room went out and I've been too lazy to fix it yet. I'm playing the King's Indian. Okay, bishop e2. Often they play knight f3, or we have an Averbach variation. Okay, I'll play c5, the main line. And against this, I think I will play e6 and challenge in the center. Queen d2, all right. I don't want to take because that allows knight takes, and I feel like that's some unpleasant pressure here. So I'm thinking moving my queen might be decent. So let's go queen a5. I'm inexperienced in these structures, not going to lie. King's Indian is a defense I'm trying, though. Okay, so now can I take? Certainly possible, but he might take on f6. Take here. Okay, that's playable. Not sure how thrilled I am about that position. Rook e8. Rook e8 looks decent. Let's throw that in. Yeah, white castles. Just go a6. Hinting at a possible b5. I just hate to have to close the position with e5. That would be an admission that the e6, d5 tension is not in black's favor. But I also don't see a good moment to release the tension and take on d5. So I'm just trying to play some helpful moves like, possibility of b5 might give white trouble. But if white just played a4 quick here, I'm not sure what I would do. If white takes on e6, I suppose I'll take with a rook to keep d6 defended. White just plays a3. Okay, I might take now. Bishop takes, knight takes. Oh, he takes that way. Okay, interesting. Was not quite expecting that way. Now maybe just bishop f5. Well, then knight h4 is a concern. Knight e4. Now I'm going to play this now. If knight h4, I might go back to d7. Then my knight on b8 is questionable. Okay, I feel like white is doing me a big favor by making these trades, because now my pieces fit together nicely. Queen b6. Let's play queen c7. I'm going to go here. Maybe looking for knight e5. White says no, I want to put a stop to that. All right. Okay, now it looks correct to trade. So we'll try to swap down a bit. White has more space, but they haven't really done anything with that space. So I feel all right about the position. Knight e5, take. There's f4 at the very end. I think I can just go here. If queen e7, I have bishop f8. Okay, let's play bishop f8. Guard the e8 square. b5 would be a nice move. If I can get that in next, I'm going to do it. I just wanted to stop queen e8. Okay, let's play that. I think he's trying to get the knight into e4, but the timing might not work that well for white. We'll find out. Okay, let's take once for sure. And I'm going to go here. Time to play active. Pre-move this capture. Maybe looking to come into c3. The bishop's loose, so queen e8 isn't as big of a deal anymore. Still a move I have to watch, but not so bad. Okay. Let's go queen e5. And now c5, okay. I think I have to do this, and c6, bishop d8. Just have this protected passer now that's annoying. Very, very annoying, in fact. Yeah, knight f6 there, I think, would have been a good move. I need a pass pawn myself. So let's try to sprint with this guy on the outside. Let's take that. Check. Here? Okay, I'm going to get this knight now. Yikes, have no idea what's going on right now. Am I losing? I think I'm just losing now, unfortunately. Oh, he blundered his queen too. Oof, I lost. Yeah, lost on time right at the end. Bummer, because this position was looking up, but I couldn't figure out how to win here. If b2 check, he just slides over to c2 or b1, one of the two. Yeah, should be winning somehow at the end, but man, white's c and d pawns became too big of an issue. I might be losing here. Unless I can play, yeah, knight c... Well, knight c4 might actually work. No, he covers a3. Knight c4 isn't working. I was thinking knight c4, c8, queen, knight a3 check, followed by b2, but bishop takes a3. Am I just busted here? Bishop e5. White is better, but bishop e5. Isn't that what I did? No, I played knight c8. Yeah, then I'm busted after d6. All right, so unsuccessful opening experiment in this one, but I'm still going to try the kid. It just didn't help that my theoretical knowledge was essentially over after e6. Gotta look this line up. Haven't got there yet with the Averbach variation for black. So back in the pool. Yeah, this middle game was not ideal. I think I should take on d5 earlier. Keeping the tension for that long was not good. White just played pretty simple chess, nothing inspiring, just swapping pieces down, but playing fast overall. As more and more stuff got traded, I liked my position. The engine seems to think that white keeps an edge. Yeah, maybe allowing c5 wasn't the greatest. I had a bad feeling right around here. Here I think white could have played just knight f6 check. And I can't step to g7 because of knight e8. Engine wants to go knight c5. That's flashy. Use the pin on the d-pawn, try to go after a6. Yeah, this should be busted, but somehow my b-pawn plus the activity attacking the knight on c3 worked out. Using this maneuver. Interesting end to that one. So in the Averbach variation, as long as I have a moment to discuss it, white is trying to prevent black from playing e5. If we go to that position where bishop g5 is played, oh, I got another game, but if black had played e5 as normal, then white can take and trade queens and then play knight d5 is the issue. Okay, playing PloGrinder, I'm going to go for a fianchetto on the king side again. Let's play for c5. Extremely innocuous setup for white. I think here I'm just going to put a pawn on d5. I mean, I sometimes would like to avoid that given how passively white is playing, but I think this is completely fine. We'll just ask white what their intentions are. Let's go knight e4. So if white takes, I might take with the pawn. Got all this pressure on d4 coming down. White does take. Okay. So if takes knight e5, yeah, I can always take, play queen c7. That looks pretty good. Any tricks with d4? I don't think so. So let's do this. And I can also take on d1 because white would have to take with a bishop. No, I don't like that as much. We'll just play queen c7. And how do you defend e5? That's the essential question. He doesn't. He's just going to pitch the pawn. Let's throw in this move first. Just to inconvenience the queen, then we'll take it. All right, so we're up a pawn. b6, stop queen takes a7. I mean, it is doubled, but it is a free pawn. Okay. Queen c5 looks decent. I don't think I'm that worried about g4. That's a weakening move around white's king. I could always swap and play bishop e6. But with queen c5, I'm trying to do a favorable queen trade. If white takes, I'm going to take with the pawn. Which is weird to say that, but I feel like that improves my structure, even though it isolates the pawns. It makes the c and a pawns isolated, but I can attack b3 easier for one thing. Okay, there. e3 would be nice, but it's not working. Let's go here. So that at b4, I can play queen d4. This would be a very nice trade if we get that in. Okay, I'm going to step back. I don't think my bishop's doing much on e6, or on f5 rather. Eventually I'd like to get this going. This seems like an easy capture. Could trade, but I think f5 is a bit better, but maybe I should trade here first. Yeah, let's trade on c3 first. And then go f5. White has this passed c-pawn, but I can blockade it. I can play my rook to c7, bishop to c8 if necessary. I'm not looking to push this majority much further yet, but in the future it'll be a big cause for concern for white. Let's just get a little closer here. Neutralizing the c-pawn is the biggest short-term concern. I'm just going to take that. Let's go here. Okay, now g2 might be a target, and this drops that pawn. Now he has to go passive, I think. Yeah, bishop f1. Okay, let's just bring the king over. He's going to take, play king here. And activate all the pieces. Rook coming into c2. Completely fine with parting with the h-pawn if I get white's g-pawn. They get my a-pawn, but I think that's too weakening to their king. Should be winning. Let's go here. I just tricked myself, though. That was not smart. So now I can't take because they have rook g7. All right, I need some finesse now. Sloppy technique there. I'm still a lot better, but did not go as planned. I think I can win this pawn, though. Let's come in here, pin this. King should be safe enough there. Rook takes g2. I can do this. There's no mate. Okay. And he resigned. I won the pawn in the opening. And this position, as they sometimes say in chess literature, should be a matter of technique. I mean, I think black should win, but white can put up some stiff resistance. So I was trying to make improvements to my structure along the way, like with this queen trade proposal, trying to get b takes c5 in. If white captures, I have more influence then. Maybe I can attack the b3 pawn. And also with this e5, queen d4 idea, trying to get white to take so I can undouble my pawns. I'm surprised that white never pushed the c pawn any further. I thought they were going to shove the c pawn to c6, make me play rook c7, but they went for kind of this flank strategy, h5, h4, h5. All that said, my technique was lacking, I think. I mean, right here, feels like white should be dead to rights. And I clearly didn't play that right. Actually, in hindsight, why am I not just playing rook takes g2? Oh no, rook takes g2 doesn't quite work after something like this, because white can go to f1. I was thinking rook takes g2, bishop takes g2, rook takes king h1, and then I have a discovery, rook e2. But white can flee to the f1 square. Yeah, so I think here I should play king g7. Although king g7 does allow rook a6. Still, it should be the better move. King g5 is okay, according to the computer. a5 still gives a decisive advantage to black, but just the way it came down in the game, it didn't feel like I played that correctly. I thought I was going to win g2. But yeah, I mean, the reality is white's so tied down. This is also looking really, really good. Okay, so we punished some fairly passive play in the opening there. Stand up, be strong is the next opponent. Inspirational username. Let's play knight c3. I'll allow the Nimzo. I'll just go with one of the main lines, queen c2. Knight f3 is flexible. Black has a number of things they can do against that. Okay, let's take. Play the bishop out to g5, get the pin. I'm hoping for a favorable QGD position here with black's bishop out on b4. Not sure it'll happen that way, but we'll see. Here I think I might want to play a3. Yeah, let's do that. Can take on d4. But then I might take on b4. Weird structural thing. C takes d4, a takes b4, d takes c3, b takes c3. He's just going to capture. Okay, which way to take now? Let's just take with the pawn. If I take with the queen, I got to watch knight e4 stuff. Okay, let's go here. Bishop f5 or bishop e2? Probably bishop e2. Now I like this position. I think I can castle, move this knight, somehow prepare e4. He's going aggressive. Bishop g3, knight e4, I think is the idea. Tempted to sack here on g5. Bishop g3, knight e4. What do I have in that position? Can I play bishop takes e4 there? Take. It's interesting. Probably not sound. Actually, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to try it. This may be a really bad idea, but I think if I were to play something innocuous, black goes bishop f5 on the next move. At least this way I'm causing some issues. So if knight takes g3, h takes g3, I open the rook towards the h-pawn. D takes c4, rook takes h6, threatening queen h7 mate. Black will have to play like f5 or something there. I always have rook g6. Also the knight's hanging. No, this can't be good, I don't think. Yeah, knight's hanging on c6 as well, in addition to queen h7 mate. Yeah, black does that. Okay, so do I throw in the check? Probably. Yeah, let's throw in the check first. Just see where that king goes, and then take the knight. Because now I always have knight e5 with check. It's a nice device. thinking just castle. Yeah, let's castle queenside. Not really worried about bishop d5 again. Knight e5 is always coming to the rescue. Now I can send this rook over to h1. The king's a little open over here, but I don't see how black attacks me. Queen e7 maybe. Hit a3. Yeah. I'm just going to play a calm move here. Keep all my options open. Just defend the pawn. This is paradoxical, but if I play knight e5, like that kind of pushes black's king in the direction it wants to go anyways. Let's go d5. Let's swing this over. Now I think I can win the g-pawn. Queen d8, rook takes h8. And that's a nice pawn to win. I was going to try for something against my king, but definitely it shouldn't work out. Now we win the queen. Okay. This is a decision I feel like a few months ago I wouldn't go for, because on the surface of it, it just looks too ridiculous. But, or maybe more accurately, I just wouldn't calculate it. Bishop takes c4. I wouldn't take it seriously as a candidate move. But in fact, it looks very challenging. So at first sight, with this knight takes g3 move, black appears to be winning material, which they are. I mean, in this position, black's temporarily up a piece for a couple pawns, but due to the double threats, queen h7 and rook takes c6, not to mention just the long-term vulnerability of the black king, I think white has full compensation, even if I don't win the knight. On f5, like if I just had to play rook g6 and takes the pawn on g5, I think still I have some nice play. 3 pawns for the piece, ongoing initiative. Let's just see what the computer thinks about bishop takes c4. I guess, before I turn on the engine, I guess knight takes f2 is probably the best response. Although that gets weird. Knight takes f2, desperado style. Black's hoping that I take the knight, and then they can take on c4. They haven't lost a pawn. But knight takes f2, bishop takes d5, maybe? With the idea if knight takes h1, there's queen g6 check. King h8, queen takes h6, king g8. I have at least a perpetual. Maybe I even win with knight takes g5. Maybe not, bishop f5. But, okay, let's check. Computer says play bishop f5, bishop d3, and then just rook c8 and just sack the pawn. Okay, that's not an easy continuation to come up with. Yeah, knight takes g3, though, is in white's favor. And this is just practically winning for me. Is winning for me. Okay. I like that game. I was playing a lot of this system, queen c2 and knight f3, a few years ago. The one tournament where I scored my Grandmaster norm in St. Louis, I won a key game in the very first round with this system against Darwin Yang, who's an extremely strong IM. I don't think he's GM yet, but he has, I want to say, all of his norms and just needs the rating. And I played this system against him. It wasn't as well known as it is now, and I got a good position out of the opening. I think the best line for black against this, by the way, is to play c5. Normal move for white is a3 instead of knight f3, and there's quite a bit of theory after this. White just going for the bishop pair. But in the case of this knight f3 line, I think c5 is the best line. And then it goes d takes c5, knight a6. White usually goes for the fianchetto. Black plays like this. And it's not so easy to prove an edge for white in this position. There's a bunch of theory. White has these wrecked double isolated c-pawns. Some players try to demonstrate that white has an advantage there. Okay, no draw now. 24-45. That's quite a strong rating. Let's play knight f6 here. Go e6. Okay. Play this way. I think I'm going to try to put the bishop on c6 and play the knight to d7. This player seems to know what he's doing. Playing fast. Okay, knight here. I might run into some Greek gift style stuff. So let's play g6. Bit of a weakening move. It allows bishop h6 with tempo, but I wasn't liking the possibility of bishop takes h7 stuff. I think I should take with the queen now. Maybe menace knight f4. And here knight d7 looks correct. Don't think I have to worry about any sacks yet on f7 or g6. They don't appear to be working. I predict knight d2. I bet white's going to try to play the knight to e4 and let me take on e5. But I have this strong knight on d5. That's one nice thing about this line. Here I feel like I should take with the pawn. And now maybe knight f4. I can take out one of their bishops that way. But then I would have to give up my strong knight on d5. Still though, that might be the best decision. Yeah, I think I should. Neutralize that bishop pair. And just trust that I'm going to have play against like the D and the B pawns. Okay, white wants to keep the dark square bishop. Okay. So now c5 here, perhaps. Get rid of this weakling. Knight e4, queen takes d4. Maybe some compensation for white, but I think this has to be played. f6 is well guarded, so I'm not worried about knight f6 check anytime soon. Only thing is now rook d1 is on tap. So maybe I do have to be more concerned about it. I can send my other knight to d5. That's funny. Yeah, I think I should. Here, b3. Just trying to work my way through these complications now. I know I don't have a ton of time to do so. Let's go e5. e5 might be better. Just want to block this play down this diagonal. Now I got to play fast. Okay, let's go here. Try to play e4 next move. But okay, here I get a bunch of pieces for the queen. Let's try to transfer this bishop to d4. Totally okay with this trade. Queen c4, knight e3. So now let's try to make a mating net. Not worried about that loss of a pawn. Queen f8, bishop g7. Let's take this. Do I have check? Oh, I have a nice nifty mating net here. The knight coming to f2. Use all the pieces to checkmate. All right. I'm happy about that game. Time management, not optimal, but that was a player who was playing very fast. Like once they realized that they were going to go down a pawn, I think they just started speeding up, trying to create practical problems, but in the process overpressed. Like knight g5 takes and then rook takes was too much because, as you can see, I get rook and two minor pieces against the queen. That's a great deal for me. And I felt like I should play for a mating net, especially given the time situation. I could try to play this slower somehow and gradually convert the extra material, but the clock situation demanded playing for checkmate. Okay, I'm getting back in the pool. Double-edged position out of the opening, say right about here. This is one characteristic of these knight f6 lines on move 2 against the Alapin, the c3 Sicilian. You can get in IQP formations where white has that isolated d-pawn, but they have activity. And black, on the other hand, has a solid position. You can see I'm kind of building around this knight on d5. I'm keeping my king safe as possible, but I have to weather the storm. And even like this position wasn't so easy because here white's threatening rook d1, skewering the queen to the knight. And I think if I play some nonchalant moves like right around here as well, I can quickly end up in a bad position. White's idea is to play b3 and then post their queen on b2 or a1, threaten checkmate from the distance. So that's why I felt it was necessary to block the diagonal, go for e5, and maybe even f6. I might play f6 as well just to reinforce that whole construction, block the diagonal. Yeah, and you saw what happened after this. Those of you who played the Sicilian, against the Alapin, c3 on move 2, the two commonly accepted best responses for black are knight f6 or d5. And it's kind of a matter of taste which one you want to go for. d5 objectively I feel is probably the stronger move, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, IM blue. Oh, I think this is International Master Kassa Korley, my buddy. Haven't seen him for a while, but he is out in the pool. So good luck to you, Kassa, if you're watching this. Let's play queen c2, stop bishop f5. And I think I'm going to keep some tension here. Play bishop g3. Kassa has a YouTube channel. I think it's just his name if you search Kassa Korley with K's. I don't know if he's been posting regularly, but I know a while ago he was. Okay, bishop g4, that's interesting. I think I'm going to go knight f3 and give him a chance to double up my pawns if he wants. I might castle queenside. This is a departure from how I usually play this, but like one thing I like is he can't play knight bd7 here because I just take on d6. So that may slow him down. Yeah, let's castle now. So looking for rook g1 and pressure down the file. Okay. All systems go now. Bishop h4. Bishop f4 also comes to mind. Now let's start with king b1. This is often like a useful prophylactic move. If rook c8, I might play bishop f5. I'm going to go here. Clear the way this way. I feel like my bishop is still useful in this diagonal. So he says go ahead, take h7, but clearly if I do that, there's some structural issues, so probably bishop here is best. Take, and then I really want to take h7. Might not be good though, I don't know. Take, he's going to take with the queen, take here, take. Get 3 pawns for the piece. Okay, well, let's start with takes. This is a tough decision because he's going to play g6. Now, I'm not going to do it. I don't think that was great because the possibility of a queen trade was too significant. Okay, let's send the rook up. I'm just looking to double here. I think eventually he might play g6, and I'm hoping I can play like h4, h5. Start trying to bash through. Probably rook e8, looking for knight e4. Okay, let's go here. Just kind of menace h6 business. Okay. I think I'm going to take this way. Start improving this knight. Really got to watch my time, though. He's killing me on the clock right now. Okay, let's do this. Kassa's tough, especially when he's playing fast. Rook takes h6. He knows I'm looking for that. Let's go here. Can I take? Don't think it's quite working. Gotta go back. Knight takes h5 as a threat. You can play just rook e7 though, yeah. I gotta rearrange now. Gotta play rook g3. Okay, let's go here. I have rook takes h5 coming, maybe. Actually, knight g3 is probably a better idea. He's getting low on time too now. I gotta watch out for knight c3. Knight c3 is a nasty move. I'm just realizing. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna go for knight takes f5. Not sure what's going on in this position. Really tough to say. I think he's just going to go for the draw. Yeah. Good game, Kassa. That was well fought. I don't really know. So after, let's say, king here, check. I don't think I can go to d2. King d2, queen takes b2 just felt wrong. Give him all those checks. Can my king, like, escape out this way? Nah. It's looking sketchy at best. So I think a draw is correct at the very end. He did get quite a bit of play going against my king. I ran into a logjam on the king side. You can see I had all these attacking pieces, but it was hard to get through black's structure. I'm not surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised if I was just clearly worse somewhere. Unless I outright missed a tactic, but I don't see where that would be the case. It's just tough to get through that structure. That's the risk you take when you double your pawns like that. Like, yeah, I play down the g file, but if my play comes to a standstill, black is always going to be better. It's just important that you understand those risks before making a decision in the opening, like playing knight f3. Let's take a look at this moment right here. So bishop e7. And in fact, I'm going to go back and actually spend a little time analyzing that. So on bishop e7 and then take and take, I can try this. But when you play a bishop move like that, as happened in game 1 of the Fischer versus Spassky match, Bobby Fischer famously played this bishop takes h2 move, allowing Spassky to play g3 and trap his bishop, which Fischer knew that Spassky would play, of course. But whenever you take a wayward pawn like that, you got to be aware that they're going to cut off the exit. This position I just wasn't sure about. The engine says queen takes g6, but what I didn't like there is that queen h7 is possible, and black gets in a queen trade. I'd rather be black here, even if the computer says it's equal. Especially in a fast game, I think having the two knights and these pawns that are going to take a while to mobilize, yeah, I'd rather be black. So I was thinking rook takes here, but even on this move, queen h7 is playable, just pinning me. I've got all these pieces on the diagonal, and it's hard to introduce more pieces to the attack. I need, like, my knight in somewhere, but it's far away, and if it goes here or here, it can just be traded. I can try to get my rook over, but what's that really accomplishing? Black can always play rook g8 and just mass exchanges. So that was an interesting moment where I think I made the right decision not to go for it. But I need some better way to play my attack after this. It never really materialized. I'm just calculating some crazy stuff like bishop takes h7, knight takes h7, queen takes h7, king takes h7. Can I mate black after rook h5? It's not going to happen. After this move, I am threatening that, though. That's pretty cool, but he played h6. Yeah, and he just played quickly. He played quick, solid moves, and I wasn't able to get through. Yeah, and I'm happy with the end result, draw in that position, because it was volatile, and I was down on the clock throughout this second half of this game. Yeah, black is apparently just winning here. E takes f3 is good. I was going to play queen here against that move. Does that just lose somehow? Knight e2. I guess I lose this rook at the end. Okay. All right. I'm going to play one or two more games. So yeah, check out Kassa's videos. I'll link his channel. He's a good guy. I actually played him in some games from London a couple years ago when I was there for the 2015 London Chess Classic. We played some OTB Blitz, which is also on my channel. We maybe played, I don't know, like 2 or 3 games or something. He has dual Danish and US citizenship. And according to FIDE, I don't know if I've asked him about this, but he plays for Denmark. Like, his federation is Denmark, even though he lives in the US and, as far as I know, has never lived for like an extended period of time in Denmark. So Kassa, I don't know what you got going on there. It sounds like a nice gig, though. That's advantageous for playing in US tournaments, actually, because oftentimes you're counted, well, you are counted as a foreign IM if you have a different federation. That can be favorable as far as getting conditions at tournaments. You might get your expenses paid for. So I think he just does it purely for chess reasons, which I can't blame him. I mean, I think a lot of people would do the same thing. Okay, Max Dlugy. Grandmaster Max Dlugy. He always plays the London system. Okay, well, I'm just going to play some fianchetto setup. Huh. All right, I'll go for this. Yeah, interesting, because I've been experimenting with this myself, but from the other side of the board. All right, let's play h6. I'm going to play a6, just stop any knight b5 business. Let's play the bishop here. This is a little passive, but I think it's all right. Now I want to trade this knight. Swap for this guy. Open my bishop, too. Yeah, he understandably wants to keep it. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to gambit this pawn, because I believe I get a lot of play if he takes. Queen a5, maybe just knight c6. It's a very reasonable gambit. Okay, he's just developing, putting pressure here. Okay, I'm going to do this. It's a bit hard to protect this d5 pawn, unfortunately. Now I might have to take here. I can play knight f6, but then g5, take. Kind of weak at the very end of that line. So yeah, I think I should take. And then maybe take this guy first. Yeah, let's do that. And hopefully speed up a bit. Okay, now I gotta watch the queen coming to d4. That's nasty. That's actually a really nasty move there that he just played. Take queen d4. Ugh. Yikes. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, I think I gotta do something like this, but I dropped d5 at the very least. It's gonna take with the knight, okay. g5 maybe? I certainly knight c7. Gotta cover. And I've had worse positions in my chess career. This one's pretty bad, though. Okay, let's go g5. Probably just bishop g3. gonna take, okay. Doesn't mind opening the file. Yeah, he's pretty safe. It's fine, I think. Let's play the bishop back. Maybe I have to go king f8 to g7. He might try to throw his f-pawn up the board, too. He does. Okay, we'll take that. Okay, now I'm going to go here, pin this knight. I feel like that doesn't threaten anything yet. You can go queen e2, maybe. I might still castle, though. I need some counterplay, like against c4, for instance. That's why I'm playing this way. These bishops are potent, just sitting here on this side of the board. It is nice that the f-pawn is blocking his dark square bishop for now. He had knight takes f6 there. I didn't even see that move. Okay, now I definitely have to castle. If knight takes e7, I can play rook e8, I think. Can I do this? What am I missing? Oh, it's check. Okay. That's what I'm missing. That's quite a big miss, John. He'll take on f6 now? Yeah. All right, got to play active. You can go queen g5. Wasn't sure what else to do there, though, quite honestly. Okay, let's give a check first. Take that. Rook takes e6. This is looking bad. Yeah, okay, that's resignable. So I lose to Max. I didn't like my position after he played knight b4. That was a really nice move. Didn't see that at all. Idea is knight takes b4, queen d4. And I'll just show that. Actually, let me get back in the pool just in case I can catch him for one more game. But if I go back to that position, turning point in the game. So yeah, if take here, and then I have all three of these pieces under attack, I think I'm just losing. If the rook moves like here, then take, and suddenly the queen and the knight are forked. So let me just check here. The engine says I can play g5. That's a complete mess, though. But if I take here, I'm just losing after queen d4, correct? Yep. Yeah, and then the rest of the game after f6, I was just scrambling, trying to defend. I'm down a pawn. He has the bishop pair. His king is safer than mine. And I clearly missed some stuff, too. Okay, this is going to be the last game. Veteranrus. Playing d4. And we're going to get a Benoni. The snake Benoni. Okay. I'm going to go here. I think you want to try to play for bishop g5 against this, if I'm not mistaken. As opposed to the usual e4 business. So that's what I'm going to do. I might play e3 as well. Yeah, e3 and possibly knight d2 later. Okay, a4, the usual move. Yeah, let's go here. This is useful. Just pivot a bit. Keep knight e4 in mind. Cool name, Snake Benoni. Bring this guy up. Might try to clamp the position with a5 in a bit. Keep the dark square bishop. Now what to do for black? Okay, queen e7. Yeah, here I'm definitely thinking a5. Maybe with an eye towards playing knight a4 and into b6. I like the look of that a lot. Let's do it. The only problem with this is it allows knight e4, like say after a trade. So wouldn't be surprised to see this move. Okay, I feel like I retain some small pressure though. Some slight pressure. Maybe even b4 directly. There's knight c3 though. Probably start with this move. And then we can take play knight e5. b4 would be nice to play right now, but I just don't think it's a good idea. How about this one? I just want to get b4 in after a trade here. Okay, let's do that. And now this knight is out of the game, so that's why I'm thinking he's going to go knight e5, but he might not. Might go h5, h4, in fact. Well, let's keep going. If he takes on d5, I actually like my play after bishop f3. But first let's take here. Because interestingly, like now these weaknesses seem more real. Okay, knight b6, or just move the knight elsewhere. Let's go here. I think he's going to play knight e5 again. And I'm going to play bishop e4 if he does that. No, b5. Okay, I got to take that for sure. Let's offer a queen trade, because this endgame looks good for me. Even though I'm down a pawn. He's just got weaknesses all over the place. And I see him getting a little low on time, so that might be a good practical decision. Go after this pawn. Okay, pin that bishop. Look for rook c8. Let's check first. Good move, good move. Okay, now I'm going to try to attack his king a bit. Bishop d3 coming up. There might be some mating net issues he's got to grapple with. Just without time, this is nasty. Yeah, and he forfeits on time. Okay. Not convinced by my middle game play. Knight a4 might be a step in the wrong direction, but I might not even have an advantage right here. So this is the snake Benoni, black playing bishop d6 and looking to put the bishop on c7, sometimes even all the way to a5, snaking around to the queen side. As opposed to how black usually plays the Benoni, which is d6 on this move. d6 and then g6, bishop g7. I've never faced this line OTB, so I don't have a lot of practical experience, like how to play the white side of this position. I thought this is how you're supposed to handle it, like bishop g5 and e3. But I'm sure my handling of it leaves something to be desired. Let's play one more game. I know I said I was going to stop at 1 or 2 games, but one more game won't hurt me. I sound like every other chess player in the history of the universe. Okay. I'm going to go rook b8, looking for b5. And my opponent wants to take over the center. Okay. Yeah, d4. Well, if you're going to do that, I might have to change my plan a bit. But nah, I'm going to play b5 all the same. Let's go here. Let's keep some tension. I won't take quite yet. Yeah, b4. Let's keep pushing. Some good opponents tonight. Getting a nice mix of opposition. If d5, I'm thinking knight e5. And I'm looking at that d3 square. Maybe bishop a6 was also possible. I don't know. Okay, let's just push here. You can definitely think about closing it down at any moment. But I like that d3 square I have to work with. f4, he says go right in. Okay. I'm definitely considering it, because I can take on b2 and then take on c3 at the very end. That seems interesting, and it seems like something I should do in a blitz game for sure. Okay, do I play bishop a6 first even? No, probably better to go for this right away. I can also just take on c3, but I'm a little worried about my knight getting trapped eventually. Okay, I'm going to do this. This is how I end up losing on time, like decisions in already good positions, but I think it's important to get this right. He might take on b7. No, he's going to play it this way. I'm surprised by that. I would have taken on b7 there, 100%. Because now I have everything. I've got the extra pawn. I've got the file. This is really, really good. Probably has to play for e5. He's going to go for f5. Okay. Let's go here. Queen trade would be awesome for me. And he can't stop it. Okay, we'll take that guy. Play here, just defend this. Probably bishop e5 next, or bishop d4 maybe. Let's go bishop d4. Let's play the a pawn down the board. Look, go to a3, maybe rook b2 eventually. I'm not too worried about what's happening over here. Don't think my king is weak enough for him to really do this. I think a2 is eventually going to fall. It's my hope. Yeah, I can trade and play bishop d5. Okay, let's take here first. And take here. Now bishop takes h7. I have king g5 if I really want to ensure that he's not going anywhere. And here I stop him from playing h7, importantly. And that's just a win. So we take the final game of the session. Always nice. I played knight takes b2. And I think the critical line is rook takes b2, b takes c3, and now rook takes b7. I think he has to play that move. Maybe he was afraid of the c-pawn, but rook takes b7, rook takes b7, knight c4. That position isn't so clear. I have a rook plus 2 pawns for the 2 minor pieces, but he might be able to play like a quick e5. Let's have a look at that moment. So if this, knight c4. Now I was thinking queen d7 here, although actually now I see that this is a problem. White might be better here. Let's check. The engine says dead equal. Go figure. It says play rook b4. But yeah, this is miles and miles ahead of what White did in the game. This is just almost no counterplay down a pawn. White has some annoying looking kingside of pawns, but my king is not weak enough for White to be able to attack me effectively. So I wonder if we go back to that moment where I played knight takes b2, if I should just take on c3 instead. Now the engine says knight takes b2 is the best try. I was worried that if I did this, that somehow these pieces would become trapped, especially the knight. Yeah, knight c4, I can get out via b4, but then a3, knight a6, rook b6. And White has a lot of compensation. Yeah, something about it just didn't look right. All right, let's tabulate the results for this session. I think I broke about even, rating point-wise. Yeah, lost that first game to AbyssLord, then won 3 after that. Had a draw against Kassa, lost to Dlugy, and won the last 2 games. So what is that, 5? 5 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Reasonable session. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Should be over an hour, most likely, yeah. And I'll see you guys again soon. Hope you're having a good week. Bye.